Hello, welcome to Adventures in Minecraft. Today with a guest. Long time, first time. Who are you?
Sarah?
Sarah.
Hi.
Okay, nice. Let's not waste any time and go straight into Fun World. While we're waiting, please like and subscribe. And what's today's topic?
So I thought we could talk about this podcast that just came out by Matt Bernstein. And the title is The Incoherent Sexual Politics of the Right. And I got you to watch it today, and I thought it would be interesting.
Yeah, it was interesting. I mean, I watch I think the show is called A Bit Fruity, and he's like I mean, obviously, like he's a bit flamboyant.
Okay, this is
And
this is okay.
no,
Interesting start.
I'm just saying, like, I like his style, like, and he had like contrapoints on and stuff, and like it's very like it's very centered on like gay politics. I feel like a lot of the time, not gay, but generally LGBT politics.
Yeah.
And so in this one, he had like I don't know the other people that were on there, but they were like, I guess they're like academics or something like that.
I thought maybe they were journalists, but I don't know.
Oh, okay, but
One of them also has a podcast, maybe? I don't know.
yeah, it sounded like it was a podcast. And what was their topic this time?
What do you mean?
What was the topic?
Oh, the topic as it went through. It was multiple
Did you
topics.
already say that? Because I was like focusing on my
I said the title.
Minecrafting.
Yeah, I said the title.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah. So they start off talking about Elon Musk. This influencer just came out and said that she had his child and she's been keeping it a secret. And
Yeah, I heard about this on Chapo.
yeah, and he's not giving her any support or anything. Oh, did you see that part? Sorry,
yeah.
That part where someone tweeted about how this has been a long con for her. She's been manipulating him.
Yeah, I think it was Milo, right? Milo Yana.
Oh, no clue.
Oh, okay.
But this is the only public recognition he's given this whole thing, is replying to that tweet saying whoa.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he gives her nothing. Like, I don't know. It's hard to say. Like on the thing on Chapo is they just riff around, and it sounded like they were assuming that he gave her money. And they also like, I mean, I don't know what this is based on, and they're also assuming that they actually like, it's not like they had sex, but like that he's just like, here, does all this what is it called?
I think maybe they did. This wasn't
This
IVF.
was one?
I think so.
This was a real one. Okay.
Yeah,
But
I think
a lot
maybe
of them.
she mentioned. Yeah, most of them are IVF, but I think this one, she hid her pregnancy, I think.
Oh, okay.
Oh, apparently she's suing him for sole legal custody of their son.
That's probably good if she's able to do that. Because, like, I think, wasn't that a problem with Grimes that, like, he would not let her see her child?
Yeah. No, that's ongoing.
It's ongoing? Okay.
Yeah. Oh, and she's also, this one, the new one is also leaking text saying, he said, I want to knock you up again.
Really classy
stuff. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, it seems he has a bit of a breeding fetish, right? Like, he wants to populate the earth mostly with his own children.
Yeah.
But then he doesn't like them when they grow up, apparently.
Yeah. He doesn't want to support them at all.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what they're kind of talking about in the podcast, that any support would be kind of emasculating in their worldview.
Yeah.
Because everything is just about domination.
Yeah. I mean, we kind of like went straight into like more the juicy aspects of it, but like the way that they are laying it out is like that this is more of like an example of the greater way that the right wing kind of changed its relationship to women.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's kind of like what we've been talking about as well, right? Like where like the women around like Donald Trump or whatever are a very specific type of, like, they're supposed to look very sexy, I would say, like, or hot or whatever, right? Like, that's kind of the idea, right? And what like the Republicans were before, like 8 years ago or 10 years ago, but before Trump, it was really like based on evangelicalism.
Yeah.
And so they were supposed to be like women were supposed to be not like being for the family, being at home,
Yeah.
not being seen, definitely looking modest, right?
Yeah.
And it's kind of like one thing that they are talking about, which I thought was pretty interesting point, with that classical Abby, Ben Shapiro's sister.
So we should probably introduce that. Like, what do they say about her?
Well, yeah. Like that was what I was going to say. Actually, I was going to riff on it. Let me see. The point is like classical Abby, right? Like she's a very true believer,
Yeah.
right? And
what
can I just talk about
what does she believe?
this? If you let me finish the sentence, I think it'll probably come to the fore.
Okay.
Okay, so she's a really true believer in this kind of traditional femininity, and she really wants. Oh, 1 second, this is not looking good. All right. What? 1 second, everything's going really badly. I don't know what's happening here. Yeah, okay. 1 second, I need to just change some things. You say something about classical Abby. Who's that?
Okay. Well, I thought it was funny in the podcast they talk about her, right?
Yeah.
They say, she started off just trying to be a makeup influencer, and it didn't work out. She wasn't getting many views or anything.
Yeah.
And then she switched to conservative, like conservative women are being held down, and it's time we stood up for ourselves. This isn't right, and we should have a say too, and blah blah blah. And they talk about how in the podcast they talk about how this got a lot more views, but what they didn't mention is this was being heavily pushed as she was paying for ads for these videos to go out. That's why they got so many
Well, that
views.
makes sense. I mean, I think that's what Ben Shapiro did as well. But the thing is, I think like what they're pointing out, and which is kind of true, is like I don't think she had any real followers, right? Like she just had like not haters, but like people who didn't really like her. I think mostly.
No, I mean it started getting views and it started getting traction because what she said didn't resonate with women at all.
That's exactly. Yeah.
And it just felt like I think that the problem is she came across as like super preachy and a bit condescending. And so all the women in the comments were just like completely disgusted. And she got some support from some men, but not even much there. It was mostly just people talking about how ridiculous the things she was saying were, and also her taste in fashion and things like that. People weren't impressed. So that's kind of what people were talking about.
Yeah, exactly. And I think like the point that they were making is that a lot of like the now trend influencers, right? Like they're kind of like going for aesthetic. It's like very aesthetics based, and they want to like that's also why it's more sexual than what she is. And she's like, I think like she very much like just thinks this worldview is the best, and she thinks like everyone should go to the opera and should dress like super modestly, right?
Yeah.
And did it in this kind of really stern, like preaching from the top way, which is kind of like the way that, like I said, like Republicans would do in the pre-Trump era.
Yeah. I mean, I felt bad for her because she was being really sexualized and objectified. Before, I think even before she made her channel, people were just sharing, look, this is Ben Shapiro's sister, and they would find a picture of her like in a fairly tight outfit, and then the people were making comments about her body, and it's when you see her channel, it's so not how she wants to present herself, that kind of in that way. And I also think it's sad because she can't even speak out really because she wants to do this stuff against the left, right? So she can't then talk about how she's being sexualized and getting all these creepy comments online because it's not from the target that she wants to go after. You know what I mean?
I see what you mean. I mean, like, I think generally this is a problem that a lot of women face. That, like, both people on the left, men on the left and on the right, like, are kind of immediately sexualizing them. Because I feel like, I don't know, like, I didn't follow classical Abby that well. But as far as I can tell, like, was it more left or more right people who were like kind of like sexualizing her?
I think it was more right.
Okay, so
and
they
the
were
thing
like,
is, they were doing it in a way where they think it's a compliment, but it's obviously not
what she
to
wants.
her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She's really wants a traditional kind of femininity where she's really covered up, and she kind of shames women for wearing revealing clothes.
Right. And I think like I feel like that's kind of like where, on the other hand, like the HawkTuah girl comes in, right? Which is like kind of, if you think about it, that's kind of like what these men that were probably sexualizing Classical Abby, right? That's like what they want, you know? You don't think so?
No, I think maybe it's different types. I mean, I have no clue.
Right. But
like, I want to know who is actually watching the HawkTuah podcast.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering too.
Because
like,
I understand thinking the clip is funny or whatever, but to me, like, listening to a full hour of this random woman talk, I mean, based on that clip, that's it.
Well, I mean, I think like the point that they are making, and this is also how I view this, I think we talked about this before, is like I think the people who watch her think watching her triggers lips. Like, I think that's literally the whole, that's it. Like, I mean, that's what they're saying in that. That's what the one part that I thought was particularly funny is like, you know, they think it triggers lips if you spit on that thing or whatever, right? Like, if you don't know about that's how HawkTuah's catchphrase. Except for, what's her new catchphrase?
Oh, okay. I'm gonna try and say. No. Okay. Anywho, I'm gonna go to bed.
Very good.
Yeah,
very good.
I did it.
I feel like that's a very good catchphrase too, right?
Yeah.
You know.
So HawkTuah is this girl who went viral for like what does she even ask? Like something about how to make a man go wild in bed or something.
Yeah, something like that.
But now she has a podcast and she did a crypto scam, and she was called out for the scam, and I don't know, I think they surprised her with a live video call or something, and I'm not sure what happened, but the guy who was confronting her, when he left or was kicked out of the chat, she just tries to end it as soon as possible. Anywho, I'm gonna go to bed.
Yeah, and then she went to bed for 5 days.
Yeah. But the way she says anywho, it sounds like Sandy and SpongeBob. It's so good. It's just iconic.
Yeah.
Anywho.
I mean, that's what I think. I feel like that's also what they're saying and what I thought too. Like, I don't think anyone is like bothered or triggered by that woman at all.
No,
right?
No.
Like, it's just like a silly little thing. She was like drunk and she was on that.
Yeah.
You know? Is that like some, I don't know. Like, definitely not something that triggers the lips, I would say. Like, the problem is, right? Like, what she said, but by any reality of the Conservative Party pre-Trump, would have been like that. They would have hated that.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that would have been like, this is the end of Western civilization. This is the decline of morals.
Imagine Miley Cyrus in like that Bangers era thing where she was dancing with Robin Thicke or whatever on stage. Do you remember this?
Vaguely, yeah.
This like viral.
But she was dancing and twerking, right?
Yeah. Imagine if she had said that. Like,
I know, but
it would have fit, right?
Yeah, it would have fit for sure. Yeah, but like, it's kind of like, that's the thing, right? These politics are just like a complete reaction, and they only work by thinking that the people you hate
are upset.
Are upset. Yeah, exactly. That's like it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like with the with this outrage marketing, right? It's like all of these conservatives being like, "Look, I am burning my Nikes." And it's like, this will show all the libs. They want me to wear Nikes, but now I have to wear Adidas. You know, it's like, what the fuck are you talking about, right? It's, I don't know, like, we're really living, because the thing is, right, we're more or less in a fascist takeover of the world. Like, we're definitely in a right swing almost everywhere, right? But it's the stupidest kind of like these people are so lame, so cringe, so stupid, and they're still, I don't know, like, society has just gone to, I don't know, I just agree with Classical Abby. Something's really wrong. I think like maybe if these people were going to the opera instead, their fascism would be a bit smarter.
No,
okay.
I mean, the thing with Classical Abby is it's not just that she likes opera and wearing like dowdy clothes or whatever. It's that she's just so condescending, right? It's like,
well, she wants to control women.
Yeah. She thinks, time for us all to respect ourselves, ladies. Like, nah, shut up.
Yeah, it's no one wants to be spoken to like that, right?
Yeah, exactly. No, like, who would willingly watch a video where someone's like talking to them like that?
like in a way, it is kind of like this condescension of the, like, you know, the PMC and the liberals that people are kind of upset about, right? Like it's kind of very similar in that sense. When, like, you know, you have like a circle and be like, and now we all need to, well, like, I don't know, we'd have to do a land acknowledgement before we decide what the next war is gonna be. Like that kind of like just is like, or you know what it is, right? Like it's very similar to like diversity meetings in workplaces, you know, where like these people come in from the boss, from the capitalist side to condescend to you, right? Like on
here's how to stop being racist.
Exactly. Like no, not just here's how to stop being racist. Like you guys are racist. I'm going to teach you. You know.
And actually, I'm just here to protect the company.
Yeah, of course, exactly. So it's kind of, yeah. And the thing is, right? Like I do think like classical Abby like is completely.
You know, I think it's more like when liberals used to say, "It's not my job to educate you."
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, the thing is, right? Like this is like technically true, but it also is like
the worst strategy.
Like who's going to educate? Like if no one who has like any skin in the game is going to educate anyone, then like you're just gonna lose, right? Like, and also, I mean, even saying educate is already right. Like it's already means like, look, I'm the teacher.
Yeah, I know more than you.
Yeah. And the most frustrating thing is like a lot of the time it's the people who've learned something yesterday. You know?
Yeah.
Like right now, it's kind of like, guys, I just learned a new word. It's called oligarchy. Like, you know, let me teach you about it. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? You know? And it's just like, I mean, people are looking for ways to explain the world to themselves, and I understand that, but it's just like you don't need to be so annoying and arrogant about it. You know? You can't just be cool like me.
So another aspect in the podcast was real TradWives versus Sheen TradWives. Because the kind of TradWife content that's online, right, is super what's the word? It's all based
Sheenified.
Well, it's all based around fantasy. Often, you know, they show a video like that went viral of a girl. She looks like she's in an RPG and she's holding some eggs or something. There's chickens behind her. I saw that. And she looks like a teenager, and people are like, "Oh, this is better than any OF girl or whatever." But it's not real. Like, it's just it literally.
Was this AI? Or was this
like,
because it almost looked almost AI to me, but I watched it at 2x.
Like,
so
a character from Skyrim.
Yeah, exactly.
But this whole TradWife thing, it's kind of like a cartoonified version of traditional 1950s gender roles.
Yeah.
Like you see women and they've got like this kind of Marilyn Monroe inspired hairstyle. They're wearing, you know, a kind of revealing dress, and they're like making a cake in the kitchen or whatever. And then people are watching this and responding as if this is her real life and she's a traditional wife and not a TikToker.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah. It's like these people have massive businesses, like especially the successful ones, right? And like selling a specific kind of idea that's like realistic, like it's unattainable at all times, but it's certainly unattainable in like this dire economic situation that like people are in, right?
Yeah.
It's like, what are you talking about having a couple acres of farm and like living, you know, like like people don't make rent at the end, you know, don't have enough.
It's just like it's fantasy content.
Yeah.
But it's really interesting to me because the reality of like, you know, of a real traditional life is not very entertaining.
No, exactly.
And it's also not as easy to romanticize because it's like, okay, just a woman doing laundry again. You know what I mean? Oh, she's cleaning. Woo! She's destroying the libs.
Yeah, I mean, like that's the thing too, right? Like, you need in like an actual traditional situation where you're like at that level where like the woman has to stay at home and work, right? She will constantly have to do something.
Yeah.
And like she'll have to like cut corners, right? Like she's not going to, I artisanally made my bread like from the, it's like, that's not what's happening, like people were doing, were like making clothes because they needed to wear those clothes. Like, I mean, say what you want about like industrialization, but like that's actually a bit of an improvement that we have, I mean, it would be nice.
I mean, even doing laundry that used to take an incredibly long amount of time.
Exactly. Like that's the thing, right? Like, I mean, the time that they're like harkening back to, like trying to be like the 60s or whatever, right, was also the heyday, not the heyday, like also it started before in America, of like these machines taking the time like away for housewives to not have to do that, right? It's like kind of like the microwave or whatever, or like a laundry machine at home, right? Like a washing machine. So I don't know, it's just bizarre cosplaying, but I mean, I thought it was pretty interesting.
No, I think it's interesting too, because it's just so contradictory. It's like you're being told that you should be modest and that it's wrong to have like casual sex or whatever and sex before marriage, and then you're being told this by women who have porn star makeup on. It's like, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah, exactly.
Or you're being told about traditional living by a TradWife on TikTok who has the camera aimed directly at her chest. Like, I mean, am I going taking crazy pills here? Like, am I the only one who can see this is a bit weird?
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, right? Like, it's kind of like what like liberal feminism or what I was talking about. Like, I think we agree with like women can dress whatever they want, like, right? But like the performance aspect and what's being said, right, don't fit together in a way, right?
Yeah.
Oh God, I'm gonna die.
Well, I mean, the aesthetics don't fit the politics either, right? Because
exactly.
It's like they're telling other women to be modest, but at the same time, so many of their own aren't doing that now. Yeah.
So I think there's like two things that I wanted to particularly also talk about, right? Where they're talking about like the bargain that like conservative women take, right? It was actually pretty early, right? But it kind of like the idea that conservative women have is that I'm giving up like this kind of autonomy. I'm going to be like my husband is my master kind of situation for security and what protection, money, that kind of thing, right? Like you're getting like you think you're getting a bargain, right?
Yeah.
And this new kind of thing, like Elon Musk, richest man in the world, is not providing this. Like people do not like they're not holding up their bargain, and like holding up their bargain would seem feminine, not they wouldn't be considered masculine.
To try to support his kids.
Exactly, right? Like they would basically like this is gay to help my wife, right? Like that's the kind of thing that they are thinking, and what they were saying, which I think is true, right, is that this is not like new per se, right? Like it's an old type of patriarchy. I mean, I'm sure there's more, but like they are kind of opening up two different types, which is the one is kind of this restrictive one, like controlling women's sexuality, right? And the other one is like this forcible sexuality, right? Where they're just like, they're pushing their desires or whatever on the women. They're not controlling like how to dress or whatever. But they're just like being like, it's almost rapey in a way, right?
What exactly do you mean? I'm kind of...
Well, that was what they were saying, right? Like it's like a different type of patriarchy, basically. Like
I mean,
conservative
like
patriarchy.
Women are being just completely sexualized.
No. So, okay, I think what they were trying to say is, right? Like if we're looking at the 60s, there were like those evangelical preachers, and their point is women should dress modestly, stay at home, make a lot of kids, or whatever. And then there were like the Hugh Hefner kind of conservatives who are like, women should be sexually like available for us. They should be like, we cast them aside. We don't like treat them well or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And in the political arena, the evangelical part was like a little bit more powerful,
Yeah,
you know, and the other
yeah.
one was actually like kind of seedy and not that
Yeah.
that considered. But now it's switched around, right? And
Yeah,
with like
yeah, yeah.
Trump and all of this, it's not about like respecting women or like giving them like controlling them to like, because like what the preachers kind of, they were kind of doing this bargain, right? They
Yeah,
were like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
controlling women, but saying like, and you're so important, actually more important than men because you're mothers. Like, you know,
Yeah,
that's like
yeah.
that's basically kind of like the bullshit that they are saying, right? But the you have nothing is like, oh no, you're interchangeable, irrelevant to me. It's just about me, right? And that's kind of like the new MAGA way that women are viewed. So that was, I think, an interesting point.
Yeah. It's interesting.
And there was a second very interesting point that I now forgot.
Say about that.
Okay.
That's the thing, that they always go on about the nuclear family.
Yeah.
But very much nuclear family about Elon Musk's situation right now, right?
Definitely not. No. All right. Do you have anything else to say?
Let me just quickly say.
Because, you know, I had a long list, but I can't because I'm Minecrafting so hard and so well. Can't actually read it. I was talking so long about the two types of like patriarchy that I kind of lost what my other point was.
I think you said most of your points.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. The other thing, like, I mean, it's not super new. But like this kind of thing is where this idea of TradWives and OnlyFans models is basically like just a recasting of that whole Madonna whore dichotomy.
Yeah.
You know, that like is always like an aspect of patriarchal thought. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to read more on that. It's just so grim.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you, I mean, we can we can maybe talk about in one of the future one about like how much it makes sense to follow politics closely and what parts of politics, right?
Okay.
Yeah, okay. I think let's end it here. Stay subscribed, because obviously you subscribed at the start. And I'll see you in the next one. And stay spoopy, friends.